just want you to sit in your chair and go, hip hip hooray, for the Western press and the Western narrative, regurgitating the same old, every single day, without exception. Please watch the first two episodes, the second series. Look at that.
Absolutely fascinating.
And it was the first time the Beatles had really stopped being semi-professional almost.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to these people who sponsor the Frank Carlyle podcast, every single one of them got painting services. Please don't struggle by painting and decorating and going outside trying to paint your sashes and things like that. Don't struggle getting ladders. Just get these in. If you're an NHS worker, fantastic discount you get. And also, if you're an elderly person, please get them in, because you get a special discount as well. And even if you don't fit into those categories of the NHS or being an elderly, they're dead reasonable, really are. So that's Gap Painting Services, sponsors of the Frank Carlyle podcasts. And that's it. Oh. Thing is, you see, people, I'm going to talk about football just for a little bit. But I'm going to do the history of literature, because this is the night for it, to be honest. But I will be talking about the history of literature, which is very good, you know. It's no use picking up a book and reading and going, oh, isn't that great? There's something behind it. Anyway, so that'll be lines up, but we will talk a little bit about football and today, and you know what Liverpool did in a friendly over there in Tokyo, Japan. I think they started the earthquake, to be honest, over in Russia. But anyway, yeah, it's good evening from me. I hope you stay with me. If not, you know, just go to other podcasts, that's all, and talk about the same thing. Talk about Neoni, great goal, plays well. Little Rio, unbelievable. Verts, I thought Szoboszlai played great as well. Very good. When McAllister came on, Mohamed Vili, I think he holds on to the ball too long. It's dangerous. But there's a few times he's done that, and I think he'll have to be taught or told, don't do that. Clear your lines. I remember Ali doing it. Then he stopped it. Anyway, Callum, this is our half one this afternoon. Hello, Frank. No, I was very busy today. Very. Simon. Excuse me. Even in Frankenstein, since last week's show, I have been reading about Liverpool's literature scene and how it began, how it's been, how it has been significantly shaped by the unique culture, history, working class. That's great, though. That's wonderful. Well done, Simon. You're a man of culture. I'm not sure. I'm not mean that. I love anyone, who looks at culture of the arts, that is. And I have to put these on so I can read properly. We all have a thing to follow. I've followed football since I was a little kid. But, there's other things. There's other things, like all professions. And we do. I just love culture. I love culture of the arts. I really do. I grew up in a household of classical music and opera, believe it or not. So I love that. I had it on today, my little thing. But I also like, the music that I grew up with going. So you see, it's different. I've always read. And I've always been inspired by the likes of poets. So I started writing poetry. Not like them, but you get inspired. It's just like football. You go to the game and you go, oh, isn't he great? Oh, he's useless, him. That referee was terrible. See what I mean? So it's different things that take a different turn in life. And, oh no, I'm sorry. The city's experiences from economic hardship to the rise of the Mersey beat have influenced writers and fostered a vibrant literary environment. Notable figures like Beryl Bainbridge. Yeah, absolutely. Known for the novels and exploring working class poverty, the Liverpool poets, as well as more recently Carlyle, Don't Like Her. People loved it. Here in Liverpool, we didn't. And more recent works of Carlyle, as you say, Alan Bleasdale, Jimmy McGovern, and Willie de Russell. Yes. Carlyle put this thing on Liverpool. It was horrible what she did, trying to get a laugh. She was living on the Thames estuary in a lovely big house. Hadn't a clue about us. And as you like the historian and satirist Thomas Carlyle, otherwise known as the Sage of Chelsea, not what you possess, but what do you do? Yeah, you're right, not what you possess, but what you do with what you have determines your true way. Well, Thomas Carlyle, I'm an ancestor. No, I'm not. I'm a descendant of Thomas Carlyle. He's my ancestor on the family tree on my dad's side. Thomas Carlyle, great friend of Charles Dickens. he wrote a book called Sign of the Times, and he gave it to Dickens. He dedicated it to Dickens. And in turn, because, they were very great friends, him and Dickens. And he was a great historian, as you said there, Thomas Carlyle. But anyway, I've got a comment about Liverpool from him, which I didn't like. And you're going back to the mid-19th century. And he wrote, Charles Dickens, that is, he wrote Hard Times and dedicated it to Thomas Carlyle. Bella Italia, ciao Franco. I have been reading a few novels by the Brontes. I was surprised to read how they started writing. They wrote in tiny notebooks so their toy soldiers could read the stories too. You wouldn't believe that, would you? You wouldn't believe that, Bella. Great, the Brontes. And Bella says, hello, Anthony. Everyone in chat, keep getting messages. I've got to take this message. I'm sorry. It's all who they are. Excuse me. Oops, I didn't know it was football. I said, no, I'm doing a history thing, Simon. As the history, no, it says I'm doing it. Just talking just a little bit about. See, this should have been Jason's away. He's not away on holiday. He's away working, unfortunately. Simon sees in the tape. No, but I said, to be honest, I said, excuse me, I said in the last night, no, I didn't. I don't know what I said last night. But this is the night for, if I would have done a post-match today, this afternoon, I would have done it. But I didn't think it was set up. I'm being honest. And I got the message later, much later. So I didn't. Josephine. Hi Frank. Hi Joe. I hope everything's all right. You haven't told me anything about anything. Because I was not half worried about you. Just send me a message. Just say, listen, everything's cool. I don't want to stand on anyone's toes or step onto anyone's toes. So, Joe, just let me know if everything is all right with you, because I was dead worried about you. You know that. You might think I'm having a go at you, but I'm really not. Honestly. You know I love you. Oh, Simon says, Callum, I thought it was a mistake, my fault. Darryl, this personal terms mean nothing. Sesko going to United looks like he will be forced to stay. No, they're going after that Wally Watkins. What's his name? Ollie Watkins. And Ollie Watkins. Callum, man of the match, yeah, go along with it. Hope you're okay, Frank, aka Desmond Lineup, says Della. Not with a head like this. Barry says, how long is Rio's contract? Because it needs extending to 2014. Evening by the way, Shatter, of course, you said. Good evening, buddy. That was funny. Good evening, Frank, and legends, and it. Hope everyone as well. And Rio and Trey, lad, have immense potential. Says our brother from another mother. And there he is. Good lad he is. And Daryl says, Lucio with a beautiful goodbye statement. Wish Lucio all the best, says Daryl. Yeah, of course. You don't wish, divvies. The likes of, I'm sorry to say it, bring it all, like Trent. He was a snide. He was a snide doing what he did. He actually ran down his contract so Liverpool wouldn't get any money. He did that deliberately. He said, run your contract down and we'll bring it over to Real. And that's what he did. He ran his contract down. Liverpool made him. The crowd made him. And that is not a dig at the club, but a dig at you, me, and every other Liverpool football. That's the way I look at it. I didn't watch the game, but Vert and John say, Sam, we're good. Rio looks a player in the makings, as does Naomi. So looking good to see some of the young lads breaking through. But looking at the young lads, they were the only two, to be honest. Right, I'm going to go. I'm going to bring my great. Is he here? I haven't seen him. Terrell says Simon's got some chatter to him. He's always so. Sorry, guys, I didn't read the title properly. I apologies about Carlyle, Franco. I didn't realise she had a bad reputation, but that's what putting me right. No, I'm not putting you right. I'm just saying, what she did. She's one of the culprits of giving Liverpool a bad name. That we were all, cheating a benefit system. If you know what I mean. Toscana. Ciao, Frank. Ciao, everyone. I had the best of both worlds. My dad liked Pushkin. I was playing it today. Pushkin. Maria Callas and my mum loved the Mersey BT. So did I. Both. Darwin the goat. Now there's a sight for sore eyes. Hey Frank, how are you? I was wondering, would you start Frimpong? He's quick, that lad. I've seen Connor being skinned sometimes. On the light today. Yep, Frimpong, Darwin. Also, do you think Slot needs to sign more than one? Yep. Gomez is now injured. Yep. 2 he needs. The videos. Good evening, Frank. How have you been? In and out. Put it that way. I've been in and out. What did you make of it? I liked him. Big fella him. I liked him videos. Gomez time to and Samika, sorry, but Harvey Elliott done. So there's three. Yeah, Elliott was what I mean. Simon. I think you're on your way, lads. Hope you're doing well. Say Simon to Darwin the goat. Yeah, he just pops in and says hello and gets off there. Does our Darwin. I'm so good. He missed a sitter today, though, Darwin the goat. He should have buried them. He should have buried it. Then he's done nothing afterwards. Didn't know where he was. I'm so glad proper football is back now. Do you think we can win the Prem and the UCL this season? Say, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure of it. We've got to, well, Isak's done, isn't it? That's a done deal. That's it. You know, that's a done deal. Once he comes in, once he starts, yeah, definitely. Definitely. Do a double on the league and the Champions League. I really do. And so Francesco was chosen United. It's breaking news. No one wants, no, they don't. Unless that Ollie Watkins goes there. Christopher, I Frank and everyone. Like and subscribe, says Christopher. Thank you, Christopher. And as our two beautiful ladies from Italy, I would say, grazie mille. And Johan, we're in for Sesko, Frank. Yeah, he's going to United. It's a done deal, that. That is done. To be honest, Johan, it's going, mate. You've got him to be leading the line. Liverpool's Yabby. Hi Frank, I was wondering, do you think Ekatike will start on the left wing if we sign Isak? And where would Gakpo go? I don't know. I really don't. Leave that up to Slot. The sleep man. But we've got wings covered, haven't we? The likes of little Rio in the future. Fleds. Hi Frank, do you forgive Trent now that the emotions no, and that we got £10 million? No, I just explained Fleds. He was told to run down his contract. We nurtured him from 6 years of age. We made him into what he was. And his brother must have said, listen, run your contract down and look at the amount of money we'll get. Because he got 10% of me. Signing on fee. You know, over Trent signing on fee. And he did. He should have repaid the club back by signing a contract. And if Real Madrid would have wanted him, he would have had to buy him. But he didn't. So no, I'm afraid. Flirts, or will he never be a legend for you now? No, he won't be a legend for me. Great as he was, I wanted him to stay. Great he was. A bit frail in the defensive team, but what a passer of a ball. Him and Mo Salah, fantastic. Oh, for fuck's sake. These messages. Everyone's favourite Liverpool fan, Mark Goldbridge, has said Isak has agreed. Yeah, I said that the other night. I said that on our football pump. Did I say it last night? Was it last night? Yeah, the agreed terms. Said that last night. Before Mark Goldbridge, he's agreed terms. He's going to. I don't know whether I said it last week, actually. So it must be true, says Christopher. I said it, mate. If no one listens to it, they go to other pods, they come back. Hi, Frank, how have you been? Hope you're good, says Build Clopper statue. I've been all right. Then again, I haven't been all right. I'm like one of those, cuckoo clocks, that go in and out, in and out. That's what I've been like. In, all right, and in, bad. If you get me meaning, if you get the analogy. I was watching this film, Fantastic Planet, by René Laloux from Have you seen it? No, Build. No, never seen it. Very, very strange one. I felt like I was on some psychedelic drug. It was full of fantastical drawings and characters. I don't know where my mate is. I haven't a clue. I wonder if he sent me a message. Oh, God, blimey. I don't know. I haven't a clue where he is. He must be coming on somewhere along the line. Bella says, my mum loved Maria Callas. Loved Maria Callas, says Bella Natalia. Yeah, she was with Onassis, wasn't she? Died young, Maria Callas. Greek. Johan to Simon. The Rat and the Glazers have been gaslighting us for years. Nothing new. There you go. Johan, a Man United fan, says everything in one. Bella, Franco, is it true that Charles Dickens got the name Twist from Oliver Twist, taken from a headstock? No. Yeah and no. I'm going to explain that when Anthony comes on. I'll be explaining about it. La Traviata is my fave. Say Simon to Toscana. God blimey. This is. I'm fuming now, by the way. I'm getting frustrated. Franco, I hope this doesn't happen, and I'm pretty confident they will retain the title. But what if Slot flops this season? Do you think he gets the walking? Yeah. And the owners close the wallet? Yeah. Gary Richards. Tell you, Frank, dear boy, Ekatike and Rio are going to be Cop darlings. Yeah. You're right there, Gary. Spot on. That Rio something else, God blimey. 66 was a disgrace, says Sarah. I hope that the shirt number never is used again. He was a disgrace and will turn into another Michael Owen that will blow back on him. And he's only got himself to blame. Is it Elon Musk again? Only again this morning. Was it this morning or yesterday? Yeah. Elon Musk. Me and Elon. Like that. But not the real Elon. Why have you stopped ignoring me? Think about it. The richest man in the planetary system, and he's asking me, "Are you ignoring me?" Come on. Anyway, I blocked him. I just told him to F off. Think you divvies. Honest. It's a scary. My dad was on first name terms with her as he worked in Rome at the Opera House and on film sets. He kept telling me that Greek fella should have stayed with her and not Jackie Kennedy. Yet that broke her heart. That broke Maria Callas's heart, though, when he left to go with Jackie Kennedy. This is what people are like. They don't give a about anybody right in front of them. Just walk away. That broke it out. There's a film coming out on Netflix about Maria, and the actor playing her is Angelina Jolie. Do you know what? I just said that's brilliant because of she can resemble her, and she is a very good actress, but I don't like her. She's horrible there. She is horrible. Angelina Jolie. In real life, great actress, but in real life, horrible person. Chris, I missed the show yesterday because that's right, you were working, man. I remember you saying I'm at work. Hello. You went. Yeah, I said that, Christopher. Honestly, I said he's sorted. Listen, I'm sorry, I'll have to do this football show now. I think everyone's here with me, and Anthony's not here, so I can't do the history show. So I'll have to do that tomorrow night. The history. Yes, the history of literature. The history of literature. People don't realise it, you know. They just do not realise what it's about. Wow, that's fantastic. How great is that touchdown? Yeah. Maria Callas being a dad's mate. Brilliant. Yo, it was Zelensky playing silly poker 6-7. Yo. So Franco, it's okay. We always have a good show. We always talk about everything. Can I have a lot? Yeah. Go along with that. Everything goes in, doesn't it? Goes around in the set. Fucking done that again. I had a loose top, and now it's dropped on the floor. And if you think that it's said light in here, it's not. Excuse me. I'll have to get me top of me words. Oh, for fuck's sake. Sorry. The doctor said to me ages ago, get yourself an orthopedic bed. So I bought myself one. That expensive. So I got myself an orthopedic bed coming on Friday. Went and seen it, like, you know, out the shop, in the shop rather, on Friday. So I'll be able to lie down properly. Oh, there's only, I'm here, but the link won't work. Won't let them on. Just wait. I'm sorry, Anthony. Just wait and I'll text you. I don't know where he is, you know. Just bear with me. Sorry about this. I've sent him a text. You're right, Franco. She is a horrible person in real life. Yeah. What she did to Billy Bob Thornton, one of my favourite actors. And what she did to Brad, another one of my favourite actors. Horrible there. Christopher. Frank, what do you think it's best? Is the best book on Liverpool FC history, autobiography, etc. When I do the football show, I'll have a list of my top 5. I've got one here you can have. It's a cracker. It really is. Have we got it here? So you've got a little bookcase here, but I haven't got it here. I've got a massive bookcase over there. So it's on there somewhere. But you can have it. I'll give you, if Andy comes on, I'll have a quick look for it. It's only here somewhere. And you can have it. I'll give you it, Christopher. It's good. just as a message off Jason. He said, I will do, to get Anthony on. And he said, I thought you were doing a post-match this evening. So anyway, remember that Bill O'Reilly clip? Efforts will do it live, says Yoa. Yes. It's the beauty of your show. I was having me as a Scotch top up early tonight. Let you know. If he coming on. Toscana. Simon. Who needs mainstream TV? Just come on here, a good laugh and learning at the same time. When things go wrong, things go wrong. Don't they? Well, thank you for that, Toscana. It's been on the news again about Trump and Stormy Daniels. He said he didn't. I know. I'm fed up with that man. I'm being honest. He's an absolute. Can I say this? Arsehole. He is. America. They start war. He's saying he's a mediator for the country that started the war in Ukraine. How can you mediate? And if you're a mediator, you get people together and you listen to what they say. Excuse me. He won't listen for. He listens to Zelensky, but he won't listen to Putin. How can you mediate? They've already told them what they want last year. And they're not budging. They said, no, that's it. We fucking told you what we want. What else you want us to do? Back down to you. No. It's Dino. All right, Frank, some really exciting football in this Liverpool squad at footballers. I am ready to go again. Roll on the start of the season. The Reds are coming for the lot. Yes, I think they are. But as far as Trump is concerned, dangerous man. I think there's something wrong with him. I really do. I really believe there's something wrong with him. You've got to go on his ticket to get into the White House. But there's someone behind him. I think he's being blackmailed. I really believe he's being blackmailed because there's so many things about him. And it's not just going with women, on them files or whatever. I think it's younger women. Tell me. All right, Frank, have you restocked your fridge with ale yet? Oh, you'll have to come and see. Albie, he lives in Germany, by the way. He's been living over there for years, him and his band. Supercharged. I went to see them, Supercharged, and I'm talking about the 70s. And anyway, I went to see them. And he came out and I said, I used to go and see you. He said, what were we like? I said, you were fucking awful. And he went, thought so. Yeah. Did you? No, for each other. And yeah, became friends and whatever. But we've lost touch ever since I got hacked. And then, the scores open you under the bloody another name. I had to come back. But Have you restarted? You'll have to come on one show, honestly, Albie. You'll have to. You're a good man. You're a good. I said to him once, I said, "Hey, do you want to come on the show?" He says, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, great." So anyway, he came on, sitting there, as you do. And I said, "Would you like a cup of tea?" He said, "Have you got a beer there?" Now, I got beer in for our kids for the next day. And I mean, a lot of beer. Now, I don't drink beer. So anyway, he got into he drank a lot. I'll have another one of that, another one. And went into town. Absolutely brilliant. Well, mate, up here, back. I'll be made up. Great to see you, mate. Tough scan. Talk of politicians having affairs. Imagine if they had a social media when JFK was around. JFK to me was the greatest POTUS. Since then, all these other assholes have been starting wars and whatever. The Americans love wars to keep the military complex going and to make lots of senators. And I mean lots of senators, a lot of money. Of course, he is being blackmailed, Frank. We even know which country is really doing it. Yes, and their agency, as you know. We know. But you can't say too much. Look at that. It's a bruiser, you believe. Bella says, Franco, love this chat tonight. 1 minute talking football, the next talking history. You can only get Apple on your show. Fantastic. Oh, Jesus Christ. Can't help that on. Can't help that on. I'm sorry. Still love you, Albie. If CNN released photos of Stormy and Trump, do you know what he'd call them? Fake nudes. Thanks, Frank. I've got quite a few books from Shanks. From Shanks to and various players. One I would recommend the secretary of a Liverpool scout, Jeff Twentyman. That stories from players he scouted. When I had George Sefton on here, I said he was the best scout Liverpool have ever had, Jeff Twentyman. He said yes. What does Stormy Daniels have in common with the American farmers? They both got screwed and paid off by Trump. I think you're right, though. I'm going to bring my great friends here. My great friends, international artist, entrepreneur, plays the guitar in a band, does everything, scrubs the floor, everything he does. This man. Besides scrubbing the floor, he does the dishes. And there he is, this wonderful man. He's just come in. He's just been cutting the grass, by the way. He told me, he said, I've been cutting the grass. I'm doing the edges, got the shears out. And there he is, Anthony. Are you happy?
I have been scrubbing the floor. Do you know how long it takes to get whiskey out the carpet? Hiya, Frank.
Do you know what one of the lads says? I say, yeah, that's too much scotch already.
Oh, not enough.
Not enough. So listen, you know, as I said, yeah, look, here's Johan. Good evening, Mr. Brown. The headmaster is fuming today. I was fuming because it was my fault, wasn't it? I never even came in.
Yeah.
You know, give Jason his due. He really thought that I was doing a post-match today after the game. But I didn't. I didn't.
It's time, Frank.
As you know.
Sitting in your green room there, tell you what, there's nothing in that fridge you'll have to tell Albie.
Do you know Albie?
No, only
don't you know?
various people that you know. My friend Andy used to play saxophone for Albie years ago. Yeah, known by legend.
Oh yes, definitely a legend.
Yeah,
definitely a legend is Albie Donnelly.
Yeah,
what a man. Yeah, that's what he drank all that. You know, I got this beer, and I forget what it was for. I think it was going up to our kids for sure. I've got 2 crates of it. He drank a lot. I love it. I said, do you want a cup of tea? And he went, no, I love it. Have you got any? I said, well, do you want a soft drink? And he went, have you got a beer? Honest, I'm not, he tell you, he drank a lot. That's why he said it. That's why he said it, honestly. We got any stocked up? Lovely man.
Classic.
So, and good evening, Mr. Brown. The headmaster is fuming today. And Simon says, Anthony, was it the Bushmills? Have you got your own bottle yet? No, do you know what? I'm all right now. I'm waiting for the tablets off my daughter for some things. And supposed to come down today. Are you coming down today? Yeah. I'll be down later on. Still waiting. I bought a thing weeks ago. Weeks. And she keeps forgetting to bring it down when she does come down. She said, I'll bring that down as well. I said, okay, great, you know, made up. Never came. Never came.
Oh. No, Simon, it wasn't the Bushmills, and it wasn't, to be honest, it was. I've never spilt a whiskey in my life, only down my throat. But I was scrubbing floors. And I love Bushmills.
Hey, Anthony, it's not your scrubber when Anthony does it, it's art. Yeah, says Christopher.
Yeah. Jackson Pollock of the floor.
Do you know what? We're only talking about that. Incredible, Jackson Pollock. Yeah. I was saying, do you know what one of the girls said before? I don't know whether it was Bella, I'm sorry, Toscana it was. As Bella says, hello, Anthony, hope you're well.
Oh, hi, Bella. I'm well. I'm well, thank you. Hope you are too.
No, here's something, what she said. I think it's fantastic, actually, what she said. She says, is it true that Charles Dickens got the name Oliver Twist off a headstone at St. John's Gardens?
Wow.
Now, I wonder where she got that information from. Shall I tell you what happened? Shall I tell her what happened? Well, yes. Simon says here, what's your favourite tipple, Anthony? My dad liked a whiskey Jameson's or famous grouse was his favourite.
Simon, famous Sprouts is a winner at every occasion, but I like a few. My dad's Scottish ancestry, and my mum's Irish, so I'm kind of
Half you are.
caught in the middle. So I love them both. Irish and Jameson's is actually my favourite Irish, and
That's yeah, that loves that Jameson's.
I love it. And
He
Macallan,
loves it.
I like Scottish. Yeah.
He really, really loves it. Well, anyway, as you know, I was on there Channel 5 last year talking about Dickens.
Yeah.
And they said, will you come back? You won't do that, what you've just said. We've cut that. And we're just going to talk about what, you know, and I said, I never seen it. I don't like looking at myself. And they said, cut it out, by the way. And they said, will you come back and do that again? I said, yes, sure. And what I did say, Toscana says, hey, Anthony, hope you're well. Whiskey is great for asthma. I didn't know that.
It is. It is. It's also great for dyeing your hair white. Well,
I don't drink scotch and I've got asthma. It's fine.
I'm well, thank you, Toscana. I hope you are too. Thank you.
Well, anyway, what has happened? See, you've got, when you get Oliver Twist, you know, everybody knows the story. But you've got to look deep into why that story materialised. There was a place down in London called the Seven Dials.
Yeah.
I've got to. That's how I answer this lovely lady.
Yeah.
Dorothy Langham. Paddy's is a nice whiskey, Anthony. Irish, quite smooth.
It's
Paddy's, I've never heard of Paddy's.
Absolutely beautiful whiskey. I love it. Paddy's.
Is the whiskey called Paddy's, yeah?
Yeah, it's lovely. You don't see it in so many places. Well, more so now you do, but you couldn't for years and years. The amount of pubs that me and Drew have walked out because he didn't have any Irish, it's gone. Yeah. And then we find one with Jameson's, that's it, we're saying. But yeah, Dorothy, totally agree.
I'm talking to Drew. I don't forget what Stephen Graham said. He's the greatest actor to come out of Liverpool.
Yeah.
Now, quite a few said that. I'll tell you who else said it, which is, you go, did he say that? And do you know who it was? You know, Jeremy Isaacs.
Yeah.
Jeremy. And he said about, he was doing something over not Drew. Jeremy was doing something over in the States. And I mentioned about, you know, the acting scene over here. Yeah. And he mentioned Andrew Schofield. He said, Andrew Schofield is a very fine actor. And he should have done well in Hollywood. I said, he wouldn't go. I said, he'd better stay in Kirby and go at the Playhouse, the Royal Court. I said, that's his forte. That's what he wants to do. He doesn't want to go anywhere else.
Yeah. Stay close to family.
Good chap, he said. Good chap. Jeremy said. Right. So, getting back, right, to what I was talking about. So anyway, he loved going around and there was the Seven Dials. Now, in the Seven Dials, there was murderers, there was thieves, there was prostitution, there was pimps, there was everybody going about. It was a horrible place. That's where it was a no-go area. It was a no-go area for the police.
Yeah.
if you know what I mean. Even the
Yeah.
police were terrified. They were tough in those days, the police. And they were terrified to go in to the Seven Dials. So anyway, he goes around the country. He never all around. He went to Leeds, and he got to know about this fella, a fence in Leeds. And yes, but what he has working for him were kids. So we leave that at the moment. And then when he went to somewhere, but he came to Liverpool. As you know, he loved Liverpool, to Dickens. And he goes up to a very, don't mention the workhouse yet. He goes to a very famous workhouse where, it was the biggest in the country, this workhouse. So he goes there, and, he reads logs and he's looking over it. I came across something. I went, whoa, look at this. And he's reading it. And it's about a young girl, 17 years of age, middle class girl, banging on the workhouse door, and she collapses. She was heavily pregnant. And then back in those days, with the, the garb that they wore, women, they were very bulky, the Victorian stuff. And they didn't know she was pregnant, So anyway, she collapsed on the floor, brought her in. And one of the attendants said, oh, she's giving birth. So they got the couple of women, she gave birth to this child, this baby. And unfortunately, she dies. She dies. So they don't know who she is, because she was all feverish and everything as they brought her in. They were crying, said, what's your name? She just collapsed, gave birth, died, never has a clue who she was. So they said, rush the baby over to the chapel. So they rushed the baby over to the chapel. And they said, got the vicar out there, listen, before this baby dies, because the mother's just died. He said, okay, we'll name him John after the Baptist. Sorry, we'll name him Kirk. We can't say church, but we'll name him Kirk, which is an old Anglo-Saxon word and Scottish word meaning church, Kirk. So they named him John Kirk. And he read this. And what he's saying, he went down to Liverpool, the main bridewell on the docks.
Yeah.
And he said to them, listen, can I go onto the docks and, just observe what's going on? I want to observe pickpockets. And he said, listen, it's very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. So how would you like to become a special policeman? So we went, yeah, okay. So anyway, he gets dressed up, gets sworn in, becomes a special policeman, puts his uniform on, and he's walking with other policemen through the dock. And what he's observing are kids. And these were known as the 40 Thieves. Do you ever remember their Coast? That used to be on the telly, Coast, they went around the whole of the country and talking about different cities and different things.
Yeah.
Right, so I was on that. Do you ever remember Diana Oxbury? She used to do the weather for the BBC. She died, unfortunately.
I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Well, I was with her and some other prat. Anyway, I was with her and we were talking about the 40 thieves. And she was fascinated by it. I said, and this is where he came. And we went to this. I'd love to show you where we went. And I said, and this is where they used to gather. It's only it's on the Albert Dock, and it's a very small, little cobbled, like, passageway.
Yeah.
Like a little street it is. I said, this is where they used to gather. And then they used to just go out and disperse and do what they had to do and meet back here. Anyway, they were known as the 40 Thieves. You know, like Alibaba, but they were known. So he was observing them and he went, pfft. So he goes back to the workhouse and he leaves. You know, he said, this is great, this and whatever. And the birth of John Kerr gave him the seed of the birth of Oliver Twist. Because apparently Oliver Twist was just about to appear in the novel. Not like right away, he's just like all of a sudden he just appeared, but it was the birth that starts the novel off.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's how Oliver Twist was born. However, when he was a special constable, as I said, he was observing them, came back to the station, and he was talking, you know, he's writing his notes and whatever. You know, his own private notes. And this girl walks in, a prostitute, in a, you know, between mid-20s, late 20s, and she was arrested for prostitution. And she was just standing there, you know, at the desk or whatever she was being booked. And then 10 minutes or so later, these other young girls, you know, 16, 17, some could have been younger, don't know. They came in and they were crying. Most probably it was the first time that they'd ever been nicked. Yeah. It could have been the first time that they'd been on the game, because back in the day, it was shocking. It really was shocking for young girls to get on.
Yeah.
I'll give you the story about Maggie May at Maggie May at some. Not now, not tonight. Anyway, this girl, she was going over to them, comforting them. She was saying, don't be worried, you'll be okay. Don't worry. Every one of them who was dragged in, about 6 of them, 7 of them were dragged in, and they were all crying, they were all nervous, they were all et up and everything. And she was comforting them. She was saying, don't worry. And that girl became Nancy. Those boys, those kids on the dock, stealing, because what he was observing, they were going around pickpocketing gentlemen and even ladies, and you know, they were mostly what they were taking were fob watches. So they must have been very clever and very, you know, like fingered, if you know what I mean, to get up fob watch and handkerchiefs, because handkerchiefs were very expensive in those days. They were all silk. And they used to steal the handkerchiefs as well. And that's what he observed. So they became, these 40 thieves, the catalyst for Fagan's gang.
Fagan's gang.
Defence from Leeds. And in the book, you know that he had them living with him in the 7 towns where it was a no-go area. And back in the day, as you know, even the Irish, pre-1845 famine, they weren't allowed to have meat. And in the novel of Oliver Twist, said, well, we can't give them meat. That'll set the brain, It'll give them anger issues, but I'm paraphrasing. And so meat was very obscure for the working classes, unfortunately. So the gang that worked on the dock became the Fagin gang. For this, Leeds fence who was, as Fagin, but it wasn't like he wasn't supposed to be from Leeds, just like Oliver Twist wasn't supposed to be from Liverpool. You see what I mean? Just so it's all gathered together, the story. And he was, but he had to have a benefactor, Oliver Twist. And the benefactor in the novel of Oliver Twist was a Mr. Brownlow. And John Kerr was born in Brownlow Hill, Wakehouse.
Yeah.
So to see how it fitted together.
No, beautiful, fascinating. And it's absolutely wonderful. It's like watching an artist paint it when you put all of that together. That he's there, and he's obviously building up this absolutely majestic novel that the whole world loves. But what we don't see, obviously, as a rule, is the backstory which you just described. And also there's a wonderful piece that you let me in on, well, let all of us in on. It's because Dickens had to channel his vision slightly to get it out there, because he couldn't write about Oliver Twist being a working class urchin. So he had to soften some edges to get.
He had to soften the girl who was middle class.
Yeah.
Right? But he just couldn't use Oliver Twist and the likes of Fagin, shall we say, and those little boys. I'm not saying this word, and I don't want you to say it. Now, when you really think about those little boys, they were only kids, little kids. They were 6, 7, and 8, around the ages, right? There was only John Dawkins, who was like about 10 or 11. I think he was the oldest. Now, these kids, think about it. They're living. They had no family. They had nothing. These kids were orphans. And what did he used to do? He used to give them sausages. He used to fry them sausages to give them strength and nerve. Fagin. But when you come to reality, and he was living with all these kids, don't say the word, so you can imagine what this fella was, can't you? You can imagine what he was.
Yeah.
Right? Now, Dickens couldn't say that, obviously, for obvious reasons. But getting back to the middle class stuff, back in the day, in the 19th century, people really believed that if you were born into the middle class family and you have a middle class background, you didn't need education because it was already there. Now, Oliver Twist, he was brought up in a workhouse, a northern workhouse, don't forget, wasn't south, northern workhouse, where he had a wide range vocabulary and he didn't have an accent. Whereas when if you open the novel and you see his little friend, a little friend named Little Dick, right? His name was Dick, Little Dick. He was a child. He was 4 or 5, and he used to look after him. But he spoke with a terrible accent. And Dickens did it the way he did it. Fantastic in his writing.
Yeah.
But Oliver didn't. Oliver could read and write. He had, as I said, this wide range vocabulary. He could read. Yet there was no education in workhouses, none whatsoever. And he made his way to London.
Yeah.
And he said to his little friend, I will be back for you. I'll come back. Anyway, he just goes off and he gets down to London. And the first person he meets is John Dawkins, the Hopeful Dodger, the Dodger. Now, he was a real life person, as you know. And he was actually sentenced to go to Australia, caught the ship here in Liverpool. That's where all the prisoners were always congregated here in Liverpool, in chains. And he was transported to Australia. John Dawkins, the Hopeful Dodger.
Oh.
So that's the story. That's the background.
Yeah.
And as I said, he just couldn't now. This middle-class kid, but he was being hounded because the story unfolded that the likes of monks who wanted the inheritance of his family, because Mr. Brownlow found Oliver and he was coming into an inheritance, but monks, a family member, going out to kill him. So that's how the story was. A fantastic story, but a fantastic background for the characters that were there.
Absolutely. I think he was possibly the greatest caricaturist, as in art, but in literature. Because you read his books, you can automatically see the characters.
Exactly. Simon says to Toscana, in moderation can be a good remedy for easing a sore throat, potentially reducing stress and anxiety. That's the Scotch.
That's the Scotch.
That's the Scotch.
I will second that.
And he says, fate was on Dickens' side when he was involved in a train crash in 1865, where his carriage hung precariously over a viaduct. He helped rescue people and retrieve his manuscript from the wreckage. He wouldn't travel on trains anymore. He hated, well, he did, but he hated trains. He called them monsters.
Yeah.
He described a train, and you think about it. And I was done in a film, not about Dickens or anything, but the image of Dickens and how he described a train. It was called Night of the Demon in black and white. And you see this, the very start of it, this train coming down the track, blowing the beep, 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 the lady do them trains. And you see steam coming out, and it did look like a monster. That's how Dickens described the train.
Yeah.
a monster, the face of a monster with the steam coming out and the roar and the anger. And brilliant the way he describes it after that accident. Simon, one of Charles Dickens' favourite stories as a child was Little Red Riding Hood. And as an adult, he even mentioned it as one of the things that made him want to start writing stories. Everybody, I write poetry because you know this, Anthony. I'm a great fan of any literature. And there are people there. Look, people talk about role models or whatever. My role models was writers, whether it'll be a poet, whether it'll be a prose writer. And they inspired me to read and read and read and read.
Yeah.
And by the time I got to university, and then I had to study, but you can't study secondary source. You have to study primary source. So that put me in good fettle to study the primary sources at university, if you know what I mean. And, so writers, no matter what, it's like anything else. When the Crystal came out, now the Crystal was the first radio, they used crystals.
Yeah.
And then, people still talk. But when it went up to television, proper radio, then television, that broke the art of conversation. There was no more conversations. And the only people, believe it or not, who used to talk were people, they were women, neighbours who used to stand side by side or over the fence and talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
They had a conversation. Yet jokes were made about them. Jokes were made about them. So the art of conversation went. Today, you've got the technology. Unbelievable. I haven't a clue. My lovely granddaughter comes down. When she does, sits on the chair. She's just like that. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, granddad.
No,
She's so
totally changed. Yeah. 1994, I think mobile phones started to become, amongst us guys, popular. And from that, we never look back, really.
Yep.
A bad way as well as a good way.
Yes. Yes. And yes to you, Johan. Yes, totally. I've always said that. I've always said that. So I love this from David Copperfield. The most important thing in life is to stop saying I wish and start saying I will. Consider nothing impossible, then treat possibilities as probabilities. I tell you who copied that. A very fine script. And if you're a Trekkie, Mr. Spock always said that.
Okay.
Possibilities as probabilities. As possibilities as probabilities. The impossible into the possible. He always said that. And he copied that from I forget who the writer was. And Jason said, "This show is turning me to drink." Jason.
Only the good stuff, though.
Only the good stuff. Only the good stuff. And you know what? When you talk about, the likes of great writers, but you've also got great artists who also put a story out there.
Mary Wollstonecraft.
Look at it. And you know what? When people talk about women, I'm not being funny, Anthony. You're a well-learned person. Have you ever heard it before I mentioned Mary Wollstonecraft?
I had, but only in passing.
Only in passing.
In reference to a daughter.
That's it.
But
she was the mother of, people always said, was she the mother of Mary Shelley? That's it. That's the reference.
Yeah.
Mary Wollstonecraft was far more, than just being.
She was. And she
Mary
was,
Shelley's.
She was greatly admired by a lot of our heroes in literature and the arts and history. Greatly admired. Long before the suffragettes, she raised for equality for women.
And what she said was, well, if you can't beat them, join them. And that was the men. That was the dominating society. No one told her what to do.
No.
She used to just tell them to. 3 days before the birth of Mary, she married Godwin, as you know.
Yeah.
Because she never ever married, albeit she has other children. Because she was one of the boys, as she said.
Yeah. Yeah.
She wrote The Rights of Women. That was the emancipation of women.
Yeah, he did.
Simon says, Father Ted to Dougal, have you been drinking? Dougal responded to Ted, I have, Ted. I've been drinking like a mad idiot. But you get these people who, mean a lot, especially women. They mean a lot. And yet, look, the original story from real life with conversations calculated to regulate the affections and the form and the mind, truth and goodwill. London, published by J.J. Johnson. Now, Johnson, he was a sort of, he went to people who couldn't get anything.
He did. He saw the way of supporting people that nominal society wouldn't publish or wouldn't criticize or wouldn't support in any way. So he saw talent or sparks or belief. And as we talked back there, it's about the thing of I want to do this. I want to do this book. I want to release these collection of poems. And he did it. He started out as a bookseller, and he wasn't from higher levels of class.
No.
These are the first one is a proof, like a sketch of what it will look like. The second is an etching, and these are created by our hero for that book. And it was the publisher, Johnson, who brought these people in. So the drawings are by William Blake. Now, William Blake had been kind of brought in by Johnson to illustrate certain books. He gave him a job when no one else was going to give him a job, you know. And I think he also published some of William Blake's early works. But he used to host these kind of like dinner parties, but not in a rich man's world mentality. He used to just have people along, put a pot of tea on, make a tray of sarnies. And that's how Mary Wollstonecraft met her husband. They were like intellectuals, poets, artists, writers, people who all had a distinct voice.
Yeah.
They weren't rebels, and they weren't anarchists, as they were called. You know, William Blake certainly wasn't. He was just...
No, William Blake certainly was. William Blake was one of the great social commentators.
Yeah. And
one of the greatest of all social commentators.
I think that's what he saw in all of his chosen crew.
Yeah.
For their individuality, but they all agreed. When William Blake was offered this job to illustrate her book, he was absolutely bang on it, said, yes, I would. I am a great admirer of Miss Wollstonecraft's talent and words. He agreed in exactly what she was saying.
Do you know what? I hope our Jason's there, because I wonder if he can go to a break. I really need to make a cup. I haven't had a cup of tea, and I'm just wondering if he is still there.
Oh, jeez.
This is a street called Hope. It links two great cathedrals, the Anglican and the Metropolitan Cathedral of Christ the King. And these two fine-looking gentlemen are Archbishop Derek Warlock and the Reverend David Shepherd. You can bring these two buildings together with a street, but how do you bring people together? Well, these two Liverpool heroes did, and this is where we remember them. Of course, great structures can make up a city, but the real heartbeat lies within the people. And like any city throughout its history, there have been unassuming heroes and some terrible villains. The Albert Dock, full of tourists, full of children playing, being educated by the school trips. Going back to the 19th century, it was a very, very dangerous place to be, and it involved kids as well. Why would children pose such a threat in the 19th century? Charles Dickens, who we mentioned before, stood right here as a special constable observing criminals at work. The criminals under his observation were young boys known as the 40 Thieves. This is how the 40 Thieves did it. They surrounded their hapless victims and they moved in very quickly, taking everything away from them. The victims in some cases were left destitute and ended up in the workhouses. This child gang were like piranha as they homed in on easy prey. But who were the easy prey? They were migrants waiting here on the quayside. Ironically, from the hope of a better life in the New World, America in particular, to the hardship of workhouses that Dickens himself so deplored. The child gang of the 40 Thieves became the catalyst for Fagin's gang and Oliver Twist. It's hard to imagine that such young boys could ruin the lives of people trying to make a better life for themselves. Isn't it funny the way things turn round? You'd never come here because it was too dangerous. But look at it now. The child gang of the 40 Thieves, therefore, were the ruination of so many people's lives. That's why they're on the list of Liverpool villains. From the 40 Thieves to two pioneering heroes, father and son, James and Wyndham Sadler. They sound like actors, don't they, with the names like that? But they weren't, let me tell you. It was right here that an amazing feat had taken place in April 1817. This is the new Shavash Park, and way back in 1784, James Sadler became the very first British aeronaut to ascend in a balloon. There was one thing that James Sadler wanted to do, and try as he might, he could never do it, and that was cross an expanse of water, because other balloonists, no matter where they came from, wouldn't dare try to cross an expanse of water. James Sadler tried and tried and tried. However, he always failed to cross from Liverpool to Dublin. And getting on in years, he eventually gave up his quest. And his son, Wyndham Sadler, promised his dad. He said, "Dad, I'll do it for you. And I'll do it, and I'll do it now." Wyndham took his dad's flowcharts and he studied them intensely. And instead of crossing from Liverpool to Dublin and failing, Wyndham decided to cross from Dublin to Liverpool. In April 1817, Wyndham Sadler ascended from Dublin in his balloon and successfully crossing the Irish Sea. From his great pioneering feat of 1817 to a disaster in 1823 when Wyndham Sadler's balloon crashed on the moors near Blackburn, and he's buried in Christ Church Cemetery here in Liverpool. He is one of the true Liverpool heroes.
Brilliant.
Do you know what? I had to make myself a cup of tea. Do you remember when I was saying, I was thinking of a quote, and I was going, and I couldn't think. Do you remember the quote I was saying when we was having a chat? Like,
Yeah.
couldn't think of it. What Shakespeare, and he actually said, "What a terrible era!
That's right.
What a terrible era in which idiots govern the blind," and that applies to today.
Absolute. Yes.
And that's Shakespeare saying that.
Yeah.
You're going back to the latter part of the 16th century, the 1500s,
Yeah.
when he actually said it. And it's just nothing.
Yeah.
This is what I mean about Richard. No, I don't. This is what I mean about the history of literature, simply because everything applies what was said then today.
To now. Yes, it
Yeah,
does. And it's become such a part of our day-to-day language that we
of course.
didn't realise that we're quoting. When you hear people saying, "Oh, heart in the sleeve," all of that is Shakespeare. All of
Yes,
that was,
it's just no matter what you pick up on, no matter what you read, like the great visionary George Orwell.
yeah,
Now he wrote 1984,
yeah,
and if you think about it, in the 80s, this is when they started, governments started to look at you. So he was right, but today they don't only look at you, but they're looking at us now.
they're
They're
tracking
looking at us,
through,
seeing what we'd say, and
yeah,
it's just like
through
I'll have to
these.
go back to. I'll
They
just
track
go.
you. They know exactly
Oh
where
yeah,
you.
you know exactly what you're saying, and it's only what Johan said. I know you said don't say the word, but is Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch an appropriate comparison? Absolutely. And when we were talking about Fagin and the kids,
Yeah, I just think of Rotherham.
and Michael says, hi Jason, I've just got myself a bottle of brandy. That's all right. And Johan,
Oh,
Jason, salute. And it must have been for that clip. I don't know what he's putting on, you see. I haven't a clue what he's putting on, which is great.
that's a genius of him. Yeah,
Yeah,
it is great.
incredible. So you see the way, as I said, people, it's like, I tell you what it's like. It's like, the great poets. And, people are terrified of poetry. And I don't know why. Because a poem is a condensed story. It's a condensed story. And as I said, I was sitting there one day and I was listening to all this horribleness going on in the world. Just horrible. Because I don't watch mainstream news, I watch alternative news, I watch, great men, great individuals saying as it is and the dangers
Yeah,
of, the times that we're living in. I was just, and I said, I can't take this any longer. So I turned the TV off and I was thinking, I said, I'm going to write something. And I just wrote a poem. And I wrote The Moon. That's all I wrote, The Moon. And so I was putting feelings into the moon about what's happening today. So you see, you get inspiration from other people,
You do.
from great people. You don't
Well,
have to be great either. You know, people can inspire you. That's why you always get asked, well, who was your role model? No, no one, no particular one was my role model in life.
yeah.
It was these people that we're talking about,
Yeah.
including the women,
And that's
including
happened
the women in life.
across history. That's happened, when the great poet Keats, when he inspired so many people after him, he inspired the pre-Raphaelite artists movement. They formed paintings because of his words and the pictures that he put in their head. It's all about emotion, isn't it? As we said, it's all about inspiring emotion, passion, sadness, poignancy, anger. It's all about, how you can evoke that in relatively short space of words and pages. It's you have read some of the most devastating poems, First World and Second World War poems, that have never been equaled. Never.
Never been equal because they told the truth. It's no use, Rupert Brooke was a great lad, and soldier poet, but I don't think he ever seen any action, and he died in Greece at a very young age, by the way. But he wrote The Soldier, and The Soldier was, given out to everybody. They were given to actresses, by the way, and singers when they go on stage, and like even men, and if I should die, think only this of me, that there's some corner of a foreign field that is forever England. But what they had on the stage in the the curtain, behind the curtains, was a sergeant from the army, because it got to you. Then the women would say, do you want to be in the country needs you? To these young fellas. And they used to get up and go up the stage and sign on and get a shilling. They always got a shilling when they signed on to join the army, enlisted. And this was in theatres. This is how they drew you, by reading out. If I should say, think only this of me, that there's some corner of a foreign field that is forever England. There shall be in that rich earth a richer dust concealed, a dust whom England bore, shape made aware, gave once her flowers to love, her ways to roam. A body of English breathing, English air, washed by the rivers, blessed by the sons of home. And think this heart all evil shed away, a pulse in the eternal mind no less, gives somewhere back the thoughts by England given. Her sights and sounds, dreams happy as her day, and laughter learnt of friends in hearts at peace under an English heaven. You think about that, and you think about an actor on stage, or a lady, a famous lady singer, and she's saying this, and then just going, come and join the lads.
Yeah.
Come and join the lads. And they all went over. And they always gave out the patriotic stuff. It's like Bolingbroke and Richard II, when he turns around and goes like that. This sceptred isle, this blessed plot, this silver ship, this, what did he say? This blessed plot, this sceptred isle, this blessed plot, this fortress built by nature for herself against the envy of less happier lands. This blessed plot, this realm, this earth, this England, this teeming womb of royal kings. And when, all that patriotism brought everything to the ordinary man, And this was actually spread out in the First World War on stage 2. But it's always said today as well.
Yeah.
This blessed plot. Because what they're saying is this is a blessed plot you should be made up, that you're here. It's just like gave once her flowers to love, her ways to roam, a body of England's breeding English air. You see, everything is so full of patriotism. But as you said, once the horrors start coming in, incredible. And they weren't published until 1930, which was 12 years after the war ended.
Yeah.
That's the first time they were ever published. No one was allowed to see them because they were the horrors of warfare.
Yeah.
And we can see warfare, I don't know whether we call it warfare, that's happening in the Middle East today. And nothing's being done. Nothing is being done. So you see, everything goes in a full circle. They're all circles all around. You start at one point, you think you're leaving it, then it goes around. And, everything is all right. Is it all right? Then bang, you're back at the starting point.
Yeah.
And nothing's all right. Nothing at all is all right. And that's great literature for you. They're great writers. Wonderful writers. But if you said something, it's like Oscar Wilde, when he had a go at the hunt. Right, these fellas getting on their horses and taking a drop of brandy and they're off with the hounds.
Yeah.
He made a song of it. Do you ken John Peel with his coat so gay? Do you ken John? So they did. Do you ken John Peel with his coat so gay? They were going after foxes, hounds, tearing them to pieces.
Yeah.
And young kids, 14, 13, 14, who went on the first hunt, and the blood of the smeared on them for the first hunt.
Yeah.
The blood of the fox. And what did the great Oscar Wilde say? The unspeakable in pursuit of the uneatable.
Yeah.
So you see, when you do get at them, he always got at it. Oscar Wilde's always got at the higher classes, always. And people don't realise that. Why do you think he ended up in Paris, penniless and dying? You see what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Cancelled.
What they did to that great man.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And that's the annoying thing. Remember when I said to you, I hate what I know.
Yeah.
I just wish that I knew nothing. Honestly, because I can go back. I know the builds up. I know all the preambles of everybody, especially America. America hasn't stopped. America will keep going on and on and on. They think they've got an empire. What they've got is vassal states in Europe. And none bigger than our own country. This country. this country a fellow named John Healy who wants to pick a fight with China over Taiwan, who belongs to China.
Yeah.
And that's the annoying thing. These fucking empire, I'm sorry to swear, didn't mean to swear. These empire builders. And Simon says, look at the new online act bill. It leaves the minister, Mr. Carlyle, to be able to bring in any new restrictions with no parliamentary scrutiny. The next stage to what Orwell predicted, says Simon. And Michael says, tonight appears to be working really well, flowing nicely. They cancelled him in modern terms, says Johan.
Yeah, exactly right, Johan. Yeah, it is.
And as Simon says, all tyrannies rule through the fraud and force, but once the fraud is exposed, they must rely exclusively on force. Do you know what? I read a comment there.
Today as well.
And it's what Johan said, Shakespeare's words are still alive. I only wish he could have seen Trump. What beautiful comedic tragedies we would have today. Obviously, we're there, Trump at the helm. Yes. Yes.
Humpty Dumpty comes to mind for me.
Of course. Of course it does. And he's just threatening it. See, what I look at a thing called BRICS.
Yeah.
And they're the alternative to America, because America bullies every nation in the world. And that's why they say, oh, we'll sanction you. They even sanction individuals. They even want to sanction a girl, Francesca Albanese, who's a top lawyer for the UN, because she said she wants to bring Netanyahu to court.
Yeah.
On war crimes. And they want to sanction her. A lady who's doing her job. So you see, it drives me nuts, actually. It's just, as Johan says, Shakespeare, he'd be made up with today. It's only like that quote, what a terrible leader in which idiots govern the blind. We're the blind. Even today, because no one can see what they're actually doing. And they go, you're going back to like the 1580s and 90s and the early part of the 17th century, the 1600s. That's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Shakespeare, but it applies today.
Yeah. Yes.
And it is. You've got, Captain Nemo, for example, Jules Verne.
Yeah.
He wanted to get away from the world. He wanted to live under the sea, where no one, there's only things that can come to you, the fish.
Yeah. The moon.
Yeah.
It's that vision of blanking out the horrors of what's here and just be somewhere where there's peace.
Yes. That's why I wrote The Moon. I just sat there and wrote it. I wish I could live on the moon. Where there's peace, where there's no one to say anything. All blue rinse and Zelensky have a lot in common. the old blue rinse, or do you mean orange rinse? I don't know. You know, Zelensky is the most corrupt person on the planet. He's stealing from everybody, and he doesn't ask, he demands money. He's got mansions everywhere. So is this Lermak fella, the big fella, the big Azov, the big Nazi, who's always with him. People don't believe that there are Nazis in Ukraine. Full of them. Authors like Daniel Defoe, Mary Shelley, you've get, thanks Simon, Zamatin, explored themes of pandemics and societal breakdown. Yes. Society breakdown, you're spot on with Mary Shelley. Spot on. That's why she wrote the likes of the sciences, what they were doing, what they were creating, and they will create a monster, which they did. And the monster, if you put it in today's terms, is a big nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
That's the monster. Daniel Defoe, Castaway. Did you know that he actually, Robinson Crusoe, he written half of it here in Liverpool? Daniel Defoe, before he got up.
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Do you know? Tell you where he was staying. You know, Fenwick Street.
Yeah.
He was staying right next door to what we know today, Anthony, as the slaughterhouse.
Wow.
And he used to come out. And you know what he greatly admired? He used to just walk along the street and look at the castle. Daniel Defoe used to look at the castle, loved it. And he wrote half of the book of Robinson Crusoe. Again, that's when you look at Man Friday. Now, Man Friday, okay, let's take Man Friday and the monster out of Mary Shelley. Who are the educated ones? Well, the monster in Frankenstein was the intellect.
Yeah.
Because he learned to speak.
Yeah.
The monster learned to speak. You look at Man Friday. Now, Man Friday, he was the intellect because he learned the English language to communicate with Robinson Crusoe.
Yeah.
And again, it's the authority. Well, you must learn English. You know, he never said it in that way. But you know what I mean. You know, as it's being written, you've got to learn English before you can speak to me. Before you can understand to take my orders. So you see it's all the authority. It just goes back to idiots governing the blind. What Shakespeare said. Let's see what our lovely Pete. Johan. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa have all said not only are we going to buy Russian oil, we're including Iranian oil as well. Do you know, if Trump sanctions them, puts tariffs on, he has to put them on himself because they're buying from Russia.
Yeah.
They're buying this stuff.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of things that they have to buy to keep going. America. He hasn't. He's got no leverage whatsoever over Vladimir Putin. Trump.
No, he hasn't. No.
None whatsoever. So he'll have to sanction himself. And the people, the ordinary American over there, they're going to feel it by the inflation. It's already high. And if they've got diesel cars, they're running on diesel cars because he's fell out with Elon Musk.
Yeah.
About Tesla, hasn't he? He's trying to say all them electric cars, they're useless and all this nonsense.
Yeah.
So diesel is made with this special Russian oil, Anthony.
Yeah.
So Russia could just go, all right, fuck you. You know, no one around the globe, if you've got a diesel car or a diesel engine on the railway tracks, you know, you're knackered.
Yeah.
Because it's the only oil that mixes to make diesel. They haven't a clue. They haven't a clue.
No.
It's mad, isn't it? Absolutely mad. I mean, tonight's show. Everything goes, doesn't it, Anthony, on this show? And Toscana said, Johan, I wonder what Shakespeare would have made of Stormer and even going back to Blair. What would Orwell think of them as well? Toscana. What was Orwell thinking? He's predicted everything. Franco, that's why Zelensky's favourite song is Money, Money, and yeah, the other one.
Yeah. Yes, they all danced to that one.
Blue Rinse, Netanyahu, he's a horrible. I wrote something on Facebook today. And but I'll have to get it up myself. Let's see. I don't know where it is. There's a lady, I wouldn't call her a lady, and her name is Daniela Weiss, and she's one of the most obnoxious people on earth. She really is. And what she actually put up about these, she wants to see every Palestinian dead. And I'm talking about newborn babies as well. And these people are not proper Israelis because they've only been Israelis. I'm not even saying that she was there in 1947, 48. I don't know where it is, but I shared it. It was a great thing. Now, it's not fucking football. There's something going on in the world. I don't know. I don't know where that is. It's a shame. It's a shame. I just wanted to don't know where that is. I think it's been taken down. Do you know? Must have been.
She should have been taken down.
I know something. That was us. Yeah, I put it up, and it must have been taken down. And some fella had it up, I said, I've got to share this. And it was about Gaza. But I wrote out something as well to accompany what I shared. And it's been taken down. And that's the rules of the game, unfortunately. I could be nicked, thrown in jail for it's not a hate speech. There's no hate in it.
Yeah.
But I just said about certain people being held accountable for what's happening. And they should appear in a law, an international law court, and face the consequences, face justice.
Yeah.
Frank, as your mate Elon asked for donations for his American party. Yeah. Just kidding. I know you blocked the scammer. Yes. Yeah, he did actually. He was saying, I'll make you a very rich man. I went, well, yeah. He said, yeah. I said, well, how much do you want me to start off with? But these Bitcoin things, or whatever they're called. Excuse me. And the one says, the wicked witch of the Middle East and yellow voice. Yes, she's horrible. She wants to see everyone dead. But this is for Friday. We were only talking about William Blake. And Toscana to Bella. I've had chats with friends who think Zelensky and Starmer are doing it. I know. And are baffled when my jaw drops in disbelief. They haven't a clue. They haven't a clue. Look, I always remember someone saying, I want to do my family tree, And I went, yeah, well, how do you go about it? I said, well, have you done any local history? And he went, no, why should I do my local history? I said, because you get to know backgrounds. I said, take the Irish, for example. I said, what the English did, started burning their documents and whatever. Because if you're doing your family tree and you've got Irish blood and you're going back, all of a sudden it stops. You go, hang on, how come it stopped there? Because the English burnt everything in Ireland, including documents. I said, that's why you should take up local history. Told me to F off and then never seen him again. You see what I mean? It's these people, Anthony, that look at certain things and think that they just appear like that.
Yeah.
Just appear.
Incredible amount of work.
It's only what Toscana says there. I've had chats with friends who think Zelensky and Starmer are doing a great job. And are baffled when my jaw drops in disbelief. They're doing. Zelensky is murdered himself. He could have signed a peace deal back in April 2022, where all those lives would have been saved. Those 1.3 million. Because this, you're not getting this on the media, mainstream media. 1.3 million Ukrainian lads have been killed, soldiers. 1.3 million. But, oh no, Zelensky's winning. You're getting the likes of that Starmer who's wound up. The back of him, he's got a big fucking winder there. He winds him up and he comes out, talks a load of nonsense. Because BlackRock and the deep state in America, we've got a deep state as well. Tell them what to say. Yeah, there's your script. This is what you've got to say now. He's no politician. He was a lawyer. And he's rejected now, hasn't he? You know, the law, the Hillsborough law. Fucking pricks. How great they are, you know, Zelensky and Starmer. He's allowed 1.3 million of his people. I don't know whether he's know or not. I don't know. But there's demonstrations in Kiev to get him out. Zelensky. I've got footage here. I'm going to show Anthony them. He hasn't got them. And I'm going to show him. I showed that Francine them. I said, yeah, this is what's happening in Kiev. And when she seen it, she went, I said, you get that? I said, I got it. And it's shocking what they're doing to the Kiev people. Even their fellas, old men, with hair like us, grey and white, and putting them in vans, sticking them in some camp and putting a uniform off them, give them a rifle and say, yeah, this is where you go. I've listened to Ukrainian prisoners of war. I've listened to Ukrainian deserters. You know, they just shout. But you don't get that on the mainstream news. With everything that's going on in the world, no wonder we need a whiskey. Well, grappa from it. Grappa. What you're on? Toscana and a grappa. Do you know what I'd rather have? I'd rather have a Bailey's, but an Italian cocktail. Bailey's Italian cocktail. Never that. Anthony, I went like that. I said, I'll have one of them. You know, I decided to have a cocktail. This is in Italy. I decided to have a cocktail. And when I was looking at, I said, yeah, I'll have a Bailey's, man. And I had this Bailey ice cream. Now, don't forget, a nice balmy night. A Bailey's in a lovely, lovely glass. You know, like the old champagne glasses.
Yeah.
A nice cream. And it's all white around. I kept having them. And I said, I'm going now. See you all. See you tomorrow. Domani. Ciao. Buonanotte. They go, what? Like this. You don't realise how much is in it. Hey, Franco, you drank a bottle of beautiful. Beautiful. You're right, Toscana. I have one as well. I've had the same hateful rhetoric from Facebook folks. Up until this parody of hatred, I realised how many supporters, all blue then says, I used to swap spit with these people in Eric's. And it just shows you though, doesn't it, that no matter what, if you know a little bit about history, you'll know about these Ukrainians. You know about these banderites, what you call banderites. And Stepan Bandera, he was executed for the murder of over 400,000 Jews, thousands of other like disabled people, Romanies, Russians, people, who disagreed, dissidents in other words, who disagreed. They were all executed. Every fucking one. Every one of them were executed. And he was put to death. Yet they left a hard core of Banderites, and they're what you call the Azovs. The far right, if you think the far right in this country are bad, these people are obnoxious. They've even got, I keep saying, why doesn't, a journalist, when they're interviewing that Zelensky, why don't they just ask him, what's this kill list you've got? And on that kill list is Roger Waters.
Yeah.
There's a 14-year-old girl, 14, on a kill list, and they're going around murdering them, assassinating them. That's your Zelensky for it. I don't know where I am now. A country that does not fulfill its tasks in protecting the external borders has to cope, with the consequences. Orban. Well, Orban, to me, Viktor Orban of Hungary, he just stands up to the EU. He just stands up. He said, I'm giving no money to Ukraine and Zelensky. I had to tell a friend to F off as he insisted that Ukrainian men carted off to the fight were, my head nearly exploded. AI, is she joking? I've got footage of these lads. It's not fucking AI either. It's pathetic. Do you see the propaganda?
Yeah.
The propaganda is immense. Simon says all of them, Frank, are out of their depth. Labour is a disgrace. The cabinet are full of people who never done a proper day's work in their lives. Lammy and Healy yesterday were a joke. They are all I won't listen to them. When I seen that Healy talking about Taiwan and what we go to war with China, is he having a laugh? They don't live in the real world.
No, they don't.
Frank, I had a classmate in college. He was originally from Israel. They have a mandatory IDF service. He showed me a T-shirt that said one shot, 2 kills, and it was an image of a pregnant Palestinian. There you go. Maybe that was AI as well, Johan. Oh, this is Myra. She's saying to you, is this the truth in conspiracy? Like, no, it just went on to there. It was about everything. It was about the history of literature and how literature throughout the years has come to fruition in every century, right up to the 21st century. Myra. So, it's this is what they're talking about now, what's happening in Ukraine and Zelensky. She says, hi, everyone. lovely, really, really lovely lady. Like all my lovely ladies on here. We knew many Ukrainian men who were in the SS in World War II. Many changed their surnames when they came over to the UK after the war, says Toscana. Of course they did. Look, please, look at the leaders today. Look at the leaders. Von der Leyen, their dad was in the SS. Look at Kaya Kallas, their grandparents, and SS. SS. You've only got to look at mates, big SS fella, family. You've only got to look at MI6, the new leader that's being sworn in next month or the month after or whenever it is, October. Her dad, granddad, was known as the Butcher of Ukraine. The Butcher of Ukraine. SS. They're all in it. Every one of them. Why aren't they in jail? Because they're spreading their ideology against a nation that won the war. And they've got this bitterness inside them. It's like revenge. As Shakespeare said, revenge is a form of murder. Shakespeare said that. That's why he never ever did a play about revenge. He hated it. And it saddens me. It really saddens me. The way it is. The way it is. And we're all here, sitting here, waiting. Idiots. And Johan says to Myra, we're doing live tonight. And Simon, come October when our taxes go up, let's see how many of these MPs have the balls to look at people and justify the cuts to benefits and money for wars. Prime Minister, Mr. Sausage, will be gone in 12 months. And this is all because we said about the First Wales War and Wilfred Owen.
Well, you know what? We've always said history repeats itself, and it does. And we're in it at the moment, at a time we'd much rather not be in. But it's scary when you equate what's been and what is.
Oh, there's the lovely Karen, my old friend. I've got lovely ladies on tonight. I've got the most glamorous podcast in the world with these lovely, glamorous people. All the ladies, all the lovely ladies. Good evening, Frank and Anthony, and all the lovely crew.
Good evening, Karen.
Her husband, Steve, he's a lovely man. He's such a lovely man, and he said, when we go to bed, he said, the laptop's in between us, looking at you if she misses the show. I answer to that. Oh, well, just lovely people. I like the fluidity tonight, Frank and Tony. Not sticking to the shopping list has been excellent. Or is it the brandy? Or is it the brandy speaking? I think not. Well done, lads. Isn't that lovely? the brandy.
Grandy, we haven't started yet, but we will.
Exactly. Lovely Myra says, Trump has no say. It's not for you or Trump to dictate. Yes, Russia-Ukraine negotiation terms that Trump is playing with joker cards. Didn't Medvedev say that? And to that Lindsey Graham? He said, don't tell us what to negotiate. It's already been negotiated. They put this out in June last year. Their demands. And it could have stopped all this present bloodshed.
Yeah.
But they won't listen to Russia. They just want it on their terms while people are dying. And I'm talking about Ukrainians, by the way. I'm not talking about Russians. I'm talking about Ukrainians dying. And he doesn't have any say, Myra. He doesn't have any say, Trump. And as it says, it's not for you or Trump to dictate. The Russian-Ukrainian terms. Well, it's up to. That's brilliant, though. Johan, Frank Carlyle's Love Island. Oh, jeez. Simon says, Frank, this is why whether you agreed or not, Brexit happened. Excuse me. People tired of being treated like fools. The EU has always had an agenda and been rotten to the core. Remember the milk and butter fountains? Yes. Yes, certainly do. I certainly do. But then again, look, I'm a European, half Italian, and whatever my dad was, right? And I love the Italian roots. So I consider myself European. I've always have done.
Yeah.
Have you considered yourself European, Anthony?
Yes. Yes, Frank.
And, this is what it's all about. If you're a European, you're proud of this. You're proud of it. But as you said, Simon, you've got people in Brussels. Who are they? They're unelected. And they're telling you and me what to do. Well, not me and you, but our countries, what they should and should not do. They stopped the Romanian elections when some fellow was winning, a fellow named Georgescu. He was ready, he's going to win it. And he went, simply because he didn't want to be spending money on Ukraine, he wanted to look after his own people. My people come first. They stopped him from becoming, this is the EU, this is von der Leyen. Then they said, she said, you'll have to have other elections. He went along to sign a paper to go on, to carry on. And they arrested him instead. This is the EU. Then he couldn't go in to be the president. Then this other fella named Simeone, he came along. He said, and he put it. So the first round went. He was that far in the lead. He was out of the way. It was impossible for the second fella to win it overall. I guess who won it? The second fella.
Jeez.
See the corruption. The corruption is immense in Brussels. in Brussels. You get colour revolutions. What I mean about colour revolutions, if they're trying to do it now in Georgia, they bring people from the outside in. They pay them, give them a little EU flag and wave it, and start shouting. There was one fella in was it Georgia? I forget what. I think it was Romania. I think it was Romania when they were shouting, whatever they were shouting. And he said, they were Romanian. I don't know where they were from. With the little flag. So they bring in people from outside, and I'm talking thousands, and they get paid. But it's the Americans who pay them.
That's an old American.
Sorry, Anthony, go on.
That's an old American trick, isn't it? Going way back to the 1800s.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. I have to agree with Myra, says Michael. What she said about, he has no say.
Yeah.
Ali says Putin is well read, Trump isn't. Absolutely, he is well read. And he was a rare lawyer as well. But they always come up with KGB. You've got a saying to when Anthony, was it? Did I say it to you today? I must have done. I said, you've only got to look on YouTube now and look at the films coming on. But not just YouTube, on other streams. They're all about Russia. They're all spies and the KGB and all this. And it's propaganda. It's for you to learn, enjoy the film, but see how the British, the spies of the British, MI6, MI5, can destroy the KGB. And what dastardly, nasty people the KGB are. It's all propaganda.
Yeah.
Johan, unelected bureaucrats ruin everything. Absolutely. So I'm British and European, but as you say, unelected quangos and the gravy train of an open checkbook and the waste of money. But we are told just to shut up and pay the bill. That's why people have had enough. But you can't. Have you noticed now, you won't be able to go and demonstrate. As Johan puts it very nicely, aristocrats and bureaucrats now. Yes. These are the money people making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right, Anthony. Do you know tomorrow night, Anthony?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to drag you out of bed. Tomorrow night. I'm going to do, without this, I want to do, I want to do the history of literature. We did a little bit tonight. We did a little bit of football. We did a little bit of truth and conspiracy. So, but tomorrow night is just going to be, if you don't mind, the history of literature.
I don't mind if you're good for it, Frank. I'm there.
I'm well good for it. I want to do it. I want to talk about Blake. I want to talk about Keats. I want to talk about Dickens. I want to talk about Charlotte Bronte. I want to talk about the background to everything, the social comments that they were making, the social comments that's coming out today, but they're being lambasted today. The people who are coming out with social consciences and threatened with jail. So, what either does this go back to, of being threatened with jail if you open your mouth? As Toscana says, I'm a European, but I can't agree that people in charge are not elected by us. I want every country to keep its own identity, etc. And I don't want them told that they have to agree to illegal immigrants. Well, this is why Orban has been threatened with sanctions because of that on his borders, and he doesn't want to give money to Zelensky. Simon says, it's odd, isn't it? You stand in the middle of a library and go, ah, and everyone just stares at you, but you do the same thing in an aeroplane and everyone joins in. Tommy Cooper. The lovely Myra. Tariffs is going to bite back at the USA. The BRICS will trade amongst themselves. This is what we were saying before, Myra. This is what they're getting at, the BRICS. The BRICS now, they're cemented together. There's no way that they're going to break them. And that's so the likes of the USA, who keeps putting sanctions on countries and people, individuals, that won't happen anymore. And the de-dollarization is, it's been happening now for a year. And, give it a few more years and there'll be no more dollar. There will be a dollar, but it won't be as powerful as it has been in the past. Simon. Right, guys, thanks, Franco and Andy, and all the wonderful people on tonight. Thank you very much, says Simon.
Thanks, Simon.
Johan. Thank you, Frank, Anthony, Jason, and legends in the chat for a great show. Truly brilliant, all of you. Effort. We'll do it live. Yep. But he said, fuck it, we'll do it live. There's right. Franco and Anthony, says Bella. Have a good night. Thank you once again for a great night of learning. Try and join us tomorrow, because we will be talking about some literature. And it's not just English literature. It's literature from everywhere. The likes of the French and people like that, the Italians.
Yeah. Dante.
The Italians, even the Germans, Toscana. Buonanotte, bell'Italia. Tonight was really good. Days of Our Lives, another show, Days of Our Lives. That was American, wasn't it? My wife said, can my mother come down for the weekend? So I said, why? And she said, well, she's been up on the roof for 2 weeks already. Sorry, I had to give that one more joke. Say, Sam. She's been on the roof for 2 weeks. What was that other one he said? It was just stupid. He said, listen, my mother-in-law's been coming down for 5 Christmases. I'm going to let her in this Christmas. That was better than Malin.
Oh, Miss Dawson used to do some crackers.
Oh, absolutely. Do you know, when you have somebody who can break the egg, if you know what I mean, it started off, I don't know how it started off, so I couldn't get you on. I'm not going to do the history of literature. So I went on to football. They were all talking of football.
Yeah.
So, everything was all right. then I get a message off you. I can't get on at all. That's a message to Jason. When you came up, we still shot. God knows what we were talking about. And I went from, it just went along like this.
Pinball,
Go on.
like a pinball machine. That's what we.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like a ping pong ball. You know, you have a set thing. Now I do I do this really what I've been finishing off on a Friday night. On that Friday night, you know, they do air themselves. And Simon once said, or was it Johan? I'm not quite so sure. One of the lads, they said it's great because you can get things off your chest.
Yeah.
And this is what it's all about. Getting things off the chest. Again, it's like when you look at Charles Dickens, I'll just say this. He was giving out social comments. Then you think, oh, well, there's women in this. Yeah, of course. Of course, Charlotte Bronte, she did a semi-autobiography. Jane Eyre, my favourite novel, simply because everything was in there. And these people felt for the poorer classes. They didn't have to come out and they wanted to. They wanted to come out and say, hey, this is what's going on here. This is what's going on. And when you get the likes of Wuthering Heights and, you know, incredible story. Kathy, incredible. So, you know, these are people putting out social comments. And then you have the likes of Mary Wollstonecraft, who wanted the emancipation of women going back to the 1700s.
Yeah.
Then a daughter,
yeah,
writing what science is doing. Now, don't forget, you know, that the full title of Frankenstein, it's called Prometheus Unbound. Now, Prometheus was a Greek god who stole fire from the gods and gave it to man. Now, you look at what a Bunsen burner does. A Bunsen burner is a flame that, you know, does all these little mad things in a test tube. Fire is science. It can be good, it can be awful. And when you get the likes of Tesla, he brought electricity. And he wanted to give it to the world for free. But the likes of J.P. Morgan, the big banker,
yes,
and Edison, the lighthouse fella, no, you can't do that. We're not having that. This is a lot of money's to be learned. And he died penniless in a little New York apartment, Nikola Tesla. So you see, it's things like that.
Yeah.
The science. It can be good or bad. Then you have the likes of Sir James Chadwick here at Liverpool University.
Absolutely.
Who's playing around with neutrons and things like that.
Yeah.
On the site of the Catholic Cathedral today in the former workhouse in Brownlow Hill. And then the Americans who couldn't do it sent for him to the most steel-ringed project, and that was the making of the atomic bomb.
Yeah.
And they couldn't split the atom. Oppenheimer couldn't split it. And they said, we'll have to send for this fella named Chadwick over in Liverpool. And they sent for him. And he went, can you do it? He went, no. This is how you do it. Ding. Split the atom. So James Chadwick split the atom.
Yeah.
But that's the worst science ever. The worst science now is what we can expect. I don't want to die in fallout. If a bomb's going to hit Liverpool, fine, right in the middle, like where I live, and where my granddaughter lives, and my mother. I don't want to see them struggle. Better when nothing's set in stone. When something's set in stone, you try to do it, and all of a sudden it goes off on a tangent. And Johann Simon brilliantly comes up with quotes relating to what we're talking about. He's a true legend in this chat, and his dedication is truly insurmountable to our beautiful Love Island community. Says Johann. Also, my ears perk up every time Franco says, Simon says, still a chance on replay. I know. You can't help it. Simple Simon says, yeah. Put your hands in the air. It was an old song anyway. So on that wonderful note, Anthony, tomorrow night,
We'll see you tomorrow, Frank.
We'll definitely do the history of.
Yeah. I'll check with you, make sure I've got the right key for the lock.
Simon, I'm going now. Thank you once again. Frank, thank you for giving us a platform to channel our thoughts and viewpoints. Anthony, thank you for your input. Everyone, I learned so much from you all. Isn't that lovely?
That's lovely.
Good lovely, Myra. Thorium reactor is clean energy, unlike nuclear energy. You see, it's great the way, but this is what this is why they want to bomb Iran. For reasons, the same they're making a bomb. And if they're not, it's wrong. It's wrong for them to come out and say that. And those wind things, them propellers that go around like planes, they don't work. Do you know that? They don't work out. The mother-in-law came around last week. It was absolutely pouring down. So I opened the door and I saw her there and I said, Mother, don't just stand there in the rain. Go home. This is turning out to be a sexist show, and it's not. Myra, cheers. Thank you, Myra, for try and join us tomorrow night, Myra. Honestly, you'll like it. You will. It says, it's Thursday tomorrow. Yeah, it says.
Thursday.
Try and join us. You will like it, Myra. Just pop in and see what you think. Less is more. Yeah, of course it. Yeah, you're right there. No, it's a good one. That less is more. Karen, lovely Karen. Looking forward to tomorrow night. And don't let the bed bugs bite. A very thought-provoking evening, as per. I'm going for a glass of wine. For driving everyone to drink.
That's Jason's fault. Driving
everyone to drink. A lovely Toscana. Grazie, Franco, Anthony, and everyone. Another great evening, but I thought it was an AA meeting at one point. I don't mean to break down people.
I'll drink to that, Toscana.
And on that wonderful note, I'll see you all tomorrow, God's willing, and let's hope that there's some better news. Listen out for tomorrow, simply because it'll be good. It'll be some of the things that, it's no use just picking up a book and reading it, honestly. And you get we try to explain what the background is. And I might read you one of my poems tomorrow. And that, the history of literature, you don't have to read books or anything. I don't tell you to read books, but you will know who the authors are of certain books, and certain poems as well.
Yeah.
Okay. On that wonderful note, Anthony, thank you. And see you tomorrow night.
I will see you tomorrow night.
Thank you. And I've got to thank these wonderful people for sponsoring the Frank Carlyle show. Really have. Please don't struggle. Get these lads in, fully time served, fully insured. They do a first class job. They really do a first class job. Get them in. Get them in. And that's Gap Painting Services. If you're an NHS worker or elderly, you get special discounts. And if you're not one of them, honestly, they're very, very reasonable. Just get them in to do the job, let them go. And you've got a sparkly new place. That's the Gap Painting Services. And all I've got to thank is my wonderful friend Anthony for keeping me company. And not only keeping me company, but also we've got to thank Jason for putting everything together. But most important, who do we thank mostly?
Our beautiful chat.
Our beautiful chat. And as Johan says, the headmaster is going to have his top professor alongside from the start tomorrow. Here you go. Myra say, I need to paint my house. I don't think they could get down that far, to be honest, Myra. Cape Town. She lives in Cape Town. And Johan, Frank Gap painting needs to expand to South Africa. And on that wonderful note, these two, Myra Page, try and join us tomorrow, because these are great people, lovely people, caring people, respectful people, people with dignity, every single one of them. And hopefully I'll see some of you tomorrow, along with this wonderful man, great friend of mine, Anthony. And I'll just leave it at that. Ciao, buonanotte, ci vediamo, ciao tutti.